How's it going, boys? TKC here, and welcome back to another video for you guys. And in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 tracks of March 2021. March wasn't really that great of a month, however, did have a couple standouts that I'm really excited to mention. As always, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, along with checking out my social media platforms in the description down below. However, in the meantime though, let's get into the list. At number 10, I've got Friendzone, Nicodemus, and Candice Sosa with I Don't Wanna Know. I Don't Wanna Know did actually come out at the very end of February, however, I did hear it in March and really wanted to give this track the spotlight it deserves. I'm not too crazy about the verses or vocals that this track goes for, however, features some really nice future bass drops with really good sound design. Probably the biggest highlight of this track would have to be the mid-tempo switch up in drop number 2, and honestly just makes this track stand out tremendously. I was introduced to Nicodemus with his remix of We Are Fury's Poison, and it's pretty safe to say that with his second track I've heard from him, he's once again building off that pretty solid remix, diving into mid-tempo and melodic elements once again. Ultimately, I definitely plan to listen to more of his stuff come the future, and while I'm not really too familiar with Friendzone, I definitely plan to listen to their stuff in the future if this is the tracks they're going to be making. Overall, a pretty solid collab here, and I'm pretty excited to include that at number 10. At number 9, I'm going to go with Lotus, Call You Back. Call You Back is an emotional melodic bass track that features some really nice vocals and some unique verse production like the arps that come through, something that you don't really see a lot in melodic bass. The drops sound very full and feature some pretty good sound design, and while the idea isn't really anything special, it's still a drop that really catches my eye. I actually just heard this song recently as it just came out towards the end of March, so I don't really want to let recency bias affect how I feel about this, but overall I'm feeling pretty strong about it and would definitely recommend you guys check it out. At number 8, I'm going to go with Crystal Skies and JT Roach, Crazy While We're Young. The big track highlight for me here is going to be the folk feel that the track brings in, which is overall just very unique and something we don't see a lot of in EDM. The drops could have slightly more impact, but for the idea it's going for, it's not really too much of an offense, and I think they sound pretty good. Just a very unique track here from Crystal Skies, and upon listening in my live reaction, it wasn't really one that I expected that much. I think it sets the stage for their album pretty well, and if you want to check out my live reaction to this song, I will leave it in the description, or you can click the I in the top right corner. At number 7, I'm going to be going with Trivecta, Ghost in the Machine. I honestly don't have too much to say about this one, as I did a live review for it and went overall pretty in depth, but I think it's just a really solid track all around that doesn't do anything too great, but doesn't do anything bad either. If you want to check out my live reaction and review to this song, I will leave a link in the description, and again, you can check the I in the top right corner. And at number 6, I'm going to be going with Lost Wolves and Glass Cat, Hold On. Hold On is really carried by its solid drop sound design, along with a cool idea in drop number 2 that delves more into a hardstyle sound. However, I do kind of want to point out one thing that just really bugs me about this track, keeping it at number 6. There's some very noticeable sibilance in the snares in the drops, and overall kind of takes me out of the experience a little bit. Another slight little nitpick I have is that first drop just kind of feels a little bit too long, but overall some really cool automations and filters make it not too noticeable. Lost Wolves is one of my favorite up-and-coming producers in the melodic dubstep scene, and I'm very excited to see how his EP turns out, which is coming out on April 9th. At number 5, I'm going to be going with AU5 and Halion, Was It You. Was It You is massively highlighted by the trance style the song goes for, and this can definitely be seen by the likes of Halion's vocals, along with the trance drop in drop number 1. The trance drop is extremely unique for AU5 and features some just absolutely gorgeous sound design and works amazing in execution. However, as time has gone on from my live reaction, the melodic dubstep drop has kind of grown off of me over time, especially in the first half where the idea just doesn't really attach to me as much as it did when I first listened. The arpeggiating lead in the second half really keeps my interest though, and really helps this track stay at number 5. Once again, another track I live reacted to, which you can check in the description or the I in the top right corner. With number 4, I'm going to be going with Last Heroes and Lunis, Getaway. Once again, another track I did a live reaction to, however, I was slightly indifferent when I first listened to it, but it's really grown on me over time. Getaway is featured by some just amazing sound design that Last Heroes always nail, along with some really nice verse production and vocals from Lunas. If there's one slight nitpick I have, I really would like the drop melody to kind of just move around more, and I also find that the first chorus just kind of drags on a little bit. That being said though, Getaway is an example of what amazing sound design can do to a slightly basic idea, and Last Heroes just perfectly execute this track here. At number 3, I'm going to be picking Mitis and Zach Gray, Hurt. Hurt presents itself as a more angsty, dark melodic dubstep track, and is really highlighted by some really nice verses and verse production, mainly the fluttering lead that plays in the back. Zach Gray's vocals have grown on me massively since my live reaction to the track, and fit the vibe the track is going for really well. And then as for the drop features some amazingly full sound design, with a slightly basic idea, but one that presents itself as very impactful. Again, another example that you don't necessarily need the most outlandish ideas to stand out, but just having really nice sound design and some quality verses can really put tracks up. For number 2, it's going to be kind of a slight surprise here, with Aura, Brilllion, and Haley Mays crashing into you. Honestly, this was kind of just a track I listened to on a whim, but I listened because I've been a really big fan of Brillion's stuff so far. What I got was an absolutely gorgeous, euphoric, emotional performance by Haley Mays, and easily makes for my favorite vocal performance of the month. Follow that up with some super full and impactful drops that, while again don't do anything special, just really have a nice sound to it. I'm normally not too crazy on the selection of 100 BPM for melodic bass and melodic dubstep, but I think this works really well here. However, with 100 BPM, one thing I don't really like seeing is halftime switch-ups, as oftentimes it can feel really slow, and this is a perfect example of that. However, I always encourage switching up the drops, and ultimately makes for a welcome change in my opinion. Brilllion is really starting to make my list as one of my breakout artists for 2021, and if he continues to make stuff like this, I will definitely be checking out a lot more of his stuff. And finally, at number 1, we have Illenium and Ian Dior, First Time. I can't even say that with a straight face, dude. All jokes aside, however, I do want to go over a couple honorable mentions that didn't make the cut, but were still songs I enjoyed this month. My honorable mentions include Stryer and Mary Sweet, Drown, Brilllion Remix, Abandoned and Rosa, Out of the Grave, Nervo, Frida Sundemo, Hurt, Miles Away Remix, Arm & Hammer, Miles Away and Mark Claver with One Sided, Roy Knox and Caravan, Until the End, Vanek, Fairlane and Zach Gray, Earn It, Jason Ross, Blank and Chandler Layton, One More Day, Awakened, Ava Silver, Nothing to Lose, Risku and Oblivion with Heartbeat, Newport and Maggie York with Runaway, Run, Better Yetep Remix, and Krona Tadeus Daily. And for my real number 1, I'm going to be going with Man Cub and Lucas Marks, In the Air. Once again, Man Cub makes the top of my list, with the first one being Real Me, which topped my January 2021 list. Man Cub is just on another level this year, with some absolutely amazing standout production. Despite going for more melodic bass vibes at times, Man Cub decides to dip his toes into melodic dubstep, and I could not be more happy with this change. The drop features incredible sound design, amazing fills, and a really nice backing ARP that comes in the second half to switch things up and keep things fresh. If I have to make one slight nitpick, the vocals are really nice, but just not outstanding like some of the other examples. Despite how I feel about the vocals, the verse production is just absolutely incredible and complimenting, making for some really nice verses. With Man Cub announcing he has another track coming out in April, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he manages to top my April 2021 list, as I think he is one of the best producers in the game currently. And this was a track that I did a live reaction to with the Last Heroes song, and you can check that out by going to the description or clicking the I in the top right corner. And that should be it from me, guys. I've got a pretty full plate upcoming this weekend, as I will likely do a review on Mitis's album along with Lost Wolves' EP. And then as of recording this, I don't even know what singles are going to come out, but I know Midnight Kids has a song and I would really like to do a live reaction to that, but we'll overall see what's coming out. With that being said though, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.